Okay, a lot going on, huh? Several things are just flowing through my heart and soul right now. One is that most important thing is that what I shared earlier about what I experienced this morning, and then giving it back to the universe. I'm going to address that from several different perspectives. One of which has to do when you're a child, or actually before you come in here, you're willing to jump into a vampiric energy zone. That means it wants your soul. That means it wants your spirit and your soul to be gone. It means it wants to siphon off all your energy. It wants your energy bad. Okay? Because it's losing energy at a very high rate of speed. That's a high acceleration black hole. Okay? So everything that you see that is the TV screen that we built is how vampiric energy works to invert what we see in our mirror. If you understand what it means to invert something, it means that it was reverse engineered. So you want to reverse what they reversed to bring it back into proper alignment. That means that what you see on the outside is what you are on the inside. And what you are on the inside is what love is. So what you see in your mirror is what love is. They invert the mind. Now the mind is a psychopath because what they build is going to destroy itself. That's a black hole state of consciousness. Okay? That's why I feel the energy, the tug on me here. Because I realize what's in here wants my energy bad. So it feels the frequencies and the energy, the powerhouse that is in here. Right? This is the invisible landscape. It's not what I look like. The vampire is in this house. So if you think about this through, if you will, a meme that I saw go up a couple years ago about what we did while we were here. So it's all a record. This means that the spirit, which is the firehouse, become the future spiritual teachers of the future. That's why we're already there. That's how fast we did it. Otherwise, I wouldn't know that. I already know the future. I came from the future. The future that wasn't there, but we made sure that it is. Dan Bolin talked about that. Asha Diane in the Voyagers material talked about that. And she talked about the island of Kauai and what she was shown. And she was blown away by technology. She just said, my God, what they can do. Okay? That means you understand the speed and the acceleration of learning when it's going in the right direction instead of in the other direction, which is implosion. That's why they're always forgiven. That's why I from a record point of view, because I was very aware of this, particularly when I shared what I shared earlier tonight on my video about what I experienced this morning related to somebody that's in the house. It's really no different if you've been following my stories with Misha, because the story is the same. This is just a different vessel. That's all it is. It's the consciousness that is the energy that is vampiric. Wants your energy bad. In other words, what I'm experiencing in this house, what I experienced this morning, was exactly what I experienced with Misha. I showed everybody the story about what it was like to have a relationship with her. Remember what she did? As soon as I got into her house, she puts a ring on my finger and says, you're mine. Your energy is mine. I want your energy. Okay? That's how it works. That's the vampire. So there's a lot of them on this island. So if you follow my roadmap, as we're all here following the roadmaps and the missions that we've all completed, and you've experienced all the videos that I put up since I was first prompted to do that, I have a tendency to go into the trenches, which means a lot of very dense, in other words, a lot of vampires everywhere. Demons, vampires, everywhere, all around you. which means you're taking on an enormous amount of shadow. That's a pillar of light. That's a high-speed magnet. You got to be able to burn it off and bring it back into alignment. And what it really is healing. It's fire. That's what it is. It's fire. So when you're experiencing eternal spirit fire within you, that is some very bright light. That's a hot magnet. That's a hot mirror. That's a fire-breathing eternal sun. Okay? That's what it is. You're experiencing being with the one, so the one knows where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there to experience what you're experiencing while you're there. So you implicitly trust the journey because you implicitly trust the one. And that's why you don't ever fear holding on to one electron, because now you're the highest accelerator. That's the firewall. That's the universal firewall that protects the universe and the galaxy and the gates. So you can't come into a vampiric energy zone and be afraid of a vampire. Otherwise, the vampire is stronger than you are, which means you're not experiencing the language of fire, which is the language of fire letters, which is the language of eternity, which is the eternal spirit of fire. Because fire is the most powerful magic. Because love is the most powerful magic. Absolute love is the most powerful magic because that's what they're desperately seeking. They want that energy. Because of what happened to them. Because of what they did to themselves. And those that do others to them. So in other words, her story is no different than Misha's. So what I did with Misha is I did a benchmark. Because now we're back to the story when I was 11 years old and I wrote a love letter to a girl. Is this how you write love letters to all the girls? And what did I mention in one of my videos today? I give the same love to everything that is there, that is in that mirror, because now we're back from the inside. What you see on the outside is what love is. So everything you are is what I am that I'm giving love to. So when you're living in an inverted civilization, you see that the opposite is true, but it's false. That's what makes it an illusion. Because it's not what love is, and that's what it began with. They're inverted. They're inverters. They need your energy bad because they haven't been able to restore themselves. So these are stories from the front lines, is what I tell you. I'm like a frontline reporter. You know, like, what was his name? Cleet Roberts. What was it? Channel 5, KTLA out of Los Angeles. Used to have one of the first helicopters that was up. Guy that had a little mustache like Adolf Hitler. He was a cool reporter. He was always out there, had an unbelievable voice. It should have been, I said, say it should have been, you know how voices are, right? The media, Shakespeare, the stage. Get on the stage. Hey, look at me. Trophy hunters, headhunters. Hunting everything. Killing everything. It's not funny, is it? That's a vampire. It's sucking the energy out of everything. That means the elemental command gets inverted. Remember Oppenheimer splitting the atom? We have become destroyers of worlds. That's right. They destroy everything that we create out of what love is. That's the psychopath. That's self-destruction. So one of the things that I did with Misha, for example, and this is how it works. Can you love somebody and let them go? Let the birdie go. You're free. Now that you've been healed, you're free. You're on your own. You made it. You've been healed. Which means you don't ever hold any energy captive. So I wrote Misha a long love letter the same way that I did with the girl that was in prison. Her name is Christina Gonzalez. I don't know if she's still in prison or not. I tried to see if she was in a women's state prison. I believe she was up in somewhere up near Folsom. And the last I heard, but I could not find her. So I think she's released on parole. Same story. Starts with abuse. Leads to self-abuse, drugs, all the rest of it. And of course, naturally, they flood it in every city, every community. So they get you on the front end, traumatize the hell out of you. And then here we got all our doctors, we got all our drugs, which are all AI drugs, all synthesized crap. And so that's what they were trying to do. Kill everybody off. Those with souls and spirit. That's what vampires do. And so my stories are from the front lines of the experiences that I had, that I share from others, that they can learn how we do what we do to hold the fort down, maintain the poles in a state of balance, just clear the waves, clear the distortions, clear the noise out of here so everybody can experience a clear signal, so the gates are open. Everybody can go home, right? Silent running. Shh. So I wrote Misha a long love letter. And everything that I wrote to her, I was experiencing absolute love in my heart when I wrote her. And after I wrote that letter, I said, this is not about us being sex partners. This isn't about you and I being boyfriend, girlfriend. We are spiritual partners. She was looking for a spiritual partner. Now, the language they use in Hawaiian, she called me a kapuna. Do you know what a kapuna is? That's known as an elder, a spiritual elder. So she honored the teachers because she knows you wouldn't be experiencing yourself in that avatar, running that energy, if you haven't learned something along the way. You learn from some good teachers to become what you are that I'm experiencing because I want that energy. You have learned to manage your energy in a way that I'm experiencing your energy and I want your energy. So she's wanting healing. So I do it the good old-fashioned way. I start with love letters because they're simple and the energy is in the letter. Now they're reading the letter with their hands. That energy's in there. She's experiencing in my heart the circulatory system through the circulatory library of a morphogenetic field structure and the memory banks of the planet, which means she will feel just exactly what I was feeling at the time that I was putting that energy that was coming through my heart and my soul. She will experience in her. And she came back and she says, I loved your letter. Loved your letter. A beloved. She loved the letter. Well, that is the point, isn't it? She was feeling loved. And she knows what love feels like when she's being loved. Girls know when they're being loved and when they're being lied to. You cannot lie to a girl because a girl knows how to love you. A mother knows how to love. A mother knows what unconditional love is. She cleans up our poop. She's willing to do everything to make sure that we live a happy and a joyful life. That is the wisdom of a birth giver. So imagine the mother god of dragons as a birth giver, of stars. That's how much love there is, which means it goes on forever, which means it doesn't matter who you are. You need healing. So we know how to heal you from our heart and our soul, the good old-fashioned way. You will feel being loved because they know that you're running on that energy and they want that energy bad, so they can restore themselves and remember from whence they first began. Same is true. Everybody in this house and most of the folks on this island. So a lot of places, if you follow my roadmap, we're in what I call vampiric energy zones, where it's very dense and there are vampires everywhere. So these are my stories. These are what goes down on the record. I made a video, I believe it was a few years ago when I was with Misha, while she was living on this island. And I remembered I made some things. I'm putting this on the universal and galactic record because the experiences that I had with Misha, my intent was for every unit of consciousness that has a soul and a spirit in the entire Milky Way galaxy to celebrate in their heart and their soul and spirit what I was feeling in mine what it was like to be with her, what it was I was trying to accomplish, was to have every unit of consciousness experience what I'm experiencing in me, the love and the joy of being able to restore Misha after what happened to her. That you could experience through me by putting it on the record, and now you can experience what happened. How powerful love is when it's real, which means it's not fake. It's living energy. It's not dead energy. It's not artificial light. Artificial light will not heal you. Real living light that is living light, which is what love is what heals us. So that's what we give. That's what we come in here with. We come in here with eternal love, which is absolute love. That's what it all began with. That's what I am. That's what I share with all of you by virtue of the experiences that I share with everybody, what I learned by the roadmap that I took that I share with you. So everything that I experience here being connected to all of you and why we all chose to be here for the reasons that we're all here become the future that we are experiencing and why we're all here, to make sure that our children have one. Which means we did it for all the children. That's right. So that the children have a future. Have a good night. Be good to yourselves. We love you all.